During one of the older uncle's many missions, he rescued a princess's handmaid. The handmaid told the princess of his bravery. No one could resist the charm of a knight in shining armor. One day, while the older uncle was riding along the beach, a black horse raced alongside him. Known as the best rider in North Africa, he couldn't allow anyone to beat him. The silent race ended with both riders colliding. The older uncle sprang up, ready to fight, but was stunned. The rider was Princess Jasmine herself. Though it seemed like a fairy tale, they fell in love at first sight. However, a neighboring chieftain had already arranged to marry Jasmine. To prevent her escape, he imprisoned her in his country. Upon hearing this, the older uncle launched a rescue, defeated 20 guards, and saved the princess at the last moment. They lived happily together after that.
If they lived happily ever after, then they got married and she'd be here right now with us, right?
The older uncle, now old and stubborn, still believed he was young and strong, quite different from the man in the story. Walt began to doubt its truth, but one day at mealtime, 4 troublemakers showed up. The older uncle grabbed one by the throat and said,
"I fought in 2 world wars and countless smaller ones on 3 continents. I led thousands of men into battle with everything from horses and swords to artillery and tanks. Kill many men!"
Walt was amazed. The troublemakers pulled weapons, but even 4 against 1, they were no match for the older uncle. Perhaps the story wasn't an exaggeration. Maybe he really could defeat 20 men in his youth. The older uncle confiscated their car and drove home, only to find the relatives waiting, claiming the lion was going to eat someone. Walt realized he'd forgotten to feed Jasmine. The cage was empty. The relatives' kids had vandalized it. Freeing Jasmine, everyone grabbed shotguns for a hunt, but it ended safely. Jasmine didn't attack Walt. Instead, she lay down meekly and nuzzled him. Everyone relaxed, except the relatives, who insisted they wouldn't visit again unless the lion was gone. Hearing this, the uncles immediately granted Jasmine permanent residency. The relatives left in defeat, and Jasmine stayed in the cornfield, the most jungle-like place around. After dinner, the older uncle lectured the troublemakers. Perhaps all old people become like this. The younger uncle said if the older uncle lived long enough, he'd give Walt a lecture too. Then he continued the story. The older uncle and Jasmine shared the best years of their lives, but the chieftain wouldn't give up, offering a bounty for the older uncle's head. Assassins flocked to the task, forcing the couple to live in constant vigilance, unable to live normally. Though highly skilled, the older uncle knew his luck would run out. So the younger uncle posed as a masked assassin, captured the older uncle, collected the reward, then took care of the guards on the way to the cell. The older uncle sneaked into the chieftain's room, threw him a knife for a fair fight, and soundly defeated him. Surprisingly, the older uncle spared the chieftain. Perhaps impressed by his honor, the chieftain called off all further assassination attempts, but the story never revealed Jasmine's fate. The younger uncle said Walt should ask the older uncle himself. So the next time the older uncle sleepwalked, Walt carefully woke him. Fortunately, he wasn't too angry. Walt mustered the courage to ask what happened to Jasmine. The older uncle turned away, silent for a long time, before finally saying,
"She died. Died in childbirth, hurting the baby."
The answer bewildered Walt. After Jasmine died, the heartbroken older uncle lost his purpose and returned to the army, serving until he was too old, then coming here.